All right. It is February the 4th.
Tomorrow's my daughter's birthday.
Is it? Which one?
Sierra, my middle
Sierra's?
one.
That's awesome. How old? Well,
We're,
I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
We were on the phone. We were riding to Sydney, and Lisa's on the phone with her. She lives in Columbus, Mississippi.
Yep.
And she said stuff she was doing for her birthday tomorrow, and I went, I wouldn't have remembered.
Oh, you wouldn't have remembered.
Probably wouldn't have remembered.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just kind of a blur, you know.
Yeah.
The days are. I would not have remembered.
We have, by the way, welcome back everybody to an episode of Vulnerable. Sorry, it's been a break. We'll explain why. But my sister-in-law Alexa bought us it's a thing that hangs on the wall, and it has the January through December, and then you hang like a little heart or a candle or something, and you write the names and the date, like, so it remembers anniversaries and birthdays. So every month I go and check it, and then I like have a mental note of who I'm gonna, that's important. I need the text.
And then I haven't been on, like I said, I hadn't been on Facebook in 12 years, and I was on there during my birthday, and it's like exhausting all the people that say happy birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Chris and I
really don't like it.
Yeah, Chris and I just had this conversation. I said, if you have a birthday, I'm not one of these people that I'm not going to be like, happy birthday and tag you on Facebook. Like, if you mean something to me, I'm going to text you or I'm going to call you. I'm not going to
basically what I did too.
Post something on social media.
And whenever it's somebody that I know that's a friend and I see it's their birthday, I just text them. Yes, I just text them.
Yeah, if they mean enough, I'm going to call or text.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say that, and then maybe some people are going to watch this and be like, well, he doesn't call and text me. I'll be like, well, I do forget a lot of people. Most important, I think, is your wife and your mom, right? Those are probably your two most, maybe grandma falls behind that. But yeah. So is she coming home for her birthday?
No, heck no.
She's not. Or is she, I mean, how much snow did they get?
They didn't get any in Columbus, Mississippi.
They didn't get any.
Just rain and
okay. I didn't know how far south it went.
And ice and everything. Now, Elena in Nashville, they got lots of ice.
Yep.
Lots of ice.
No snow? Some
snow followed by ice.
Did the ice cause issues?
Lots of power outages. She left her dorm room and went to friends and stayed, and 1 week later they didn't have power yet. The friends didn't, where they were staying at.
They do. Okay.
So, Elena's classes were canceled, and then she didn't have classes so she just packed up and headed to Kale and Sierra's. It's like 4 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's
she
not
just
bad
loaded
at all.
up and had a little 5-day mini vacation in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So.
Now that they're out of Texas, they're in Mississippi. It's no big deal. That's an easy drive.
Easy drive.
She can come 6 hours home or 5 hours south, right?
Easy drive. Whenever you say Texas, that's the Ella Langley song. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
I was going to say Trevor Laws.
Yep.
He posted a Snapchat. We have each other as friends.
Tracy sent me or texted me and said they got 10.5 inches.
I think Trevor said 10 to 12 where he's at. I don't know how far him and Tracy live apart, but they said it was record breaking, of course, like most ever.
So here's the crazy thing. If you do dates, so we left and went to, we had a wedding in Myrtle, South Carolina. We stayed on the beach in Myrtle Beach. The weather here sucks. We're all excited to get somewhere where it's warmer. And we arrive in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and there was 5 or 6 inches of snow on the sand in the beach.
Really?
And that happened to the day.
Really?
Again this year. Like, I saw all the Weather Channel and Myrtle Beach and everything, and there was 5 or 6 inches of snow on the sand, and it was almost the exact same dates.
I'm assuming it didn't last long, though, for them.
It don't last long.
Probably a day.
Couple days. Yeah.
Trevor had this little wiener dog. This is what made me send him a message or caught my eye. Because it was like all this fresh powder, and I was like flipping through my Snapchat, and I saw this little wiener dog hopping in fresh snow, and it was snowing. was like, who is it? And I looked up, it was Trevor, and I sent him a message. I'm like, have you ever guys ever gotten that much snow? He's like, no, it's the most we've ever gotten ever. So, it looked like 10, 12 inches. He said the most ever.
I mean,
that's probably devastating for them for couple days.
When was the last time you remember us having 12 inches of snow? Do you ever? I mean,
probably 15 years ago, maybe. Right?
That's what I said. I said,
15, 18.
That last time that we hunted on the gravel pit was, I felt, and that was like 14 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that may have been like 6 or 7 inches or something, but
10 or 12 inches at one time. I don't know if I remember. And then it was like fun to hear about, like, it brought up the
78 blizzard.
78 blizzard, right?
Which was the same days, January the 25th or whatever, roughly.
And it was like nothing compared to, I mean, which I don't know. So I saw a report that the blizzard of 78 was like, for our area, 18, 19 inches, but the wind was like
50 mile an hour
50,
wind.
60, 70 mile an hour, and it was freezing, and the drifts were, like literally some people said 10 foot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, country roads where you're driving in the snow stacked on both sides.
On both,
That's wild.
Like roads need cleaned with front end loaders and stuff.
How long were you 70? You probably would have been.
So I was 66, so I was 12.
I was going to say 12 or 13.
And I remember we had, where we lived outside DeGraff, we had little old Skidoo snowmobiles.
Yeah.
And at the bottom curve of our driveway was an old barn. It was still standing, but it was old. One I would have loved to have tore down and use on the walls and stuff.
Yep.
But we could ride the snowmobile up on the roof.
Oh, no shit. Did you?
You could ride the snowmobile like over it or whatever. Yes.
That's awesome.
Like the snow drift, the way the wind was coming and the way that barn was laying, it was drifted all the way up onto the roof of the barn.
Dad probably wasn't very happy.
Probably
about that.
Not. No. Yeah.
Come home and
it's in the barn. Yeah.
Fell through into the barn.
Yeah. Because it wasn't a real stable barn. No.
So how did that affect you? I know you had some.
I honestly kind of about process of just kind of shutting it down, muzzleloader season, which is, that 3, 4, 5, 6, or roughly right through there, January 3, 4, 5, 4-day muzzleloader. And I'm about to the point of just, wrapping it up about that time of the year now. I got something.
You had a couple.
I had a couple people come back.
Yes,
come back.
Right. Yeah. Like how many people came back?
Two
people come back.
And I mean, honestly, the deer kind of, as it starts to get that time of year and the cold, they almost kind of shut her down. Yeah, they do. They kind of shut her down.
Yeah, it's good. Mean, you want to kill does, it's great.
Yeah, but I had standing, a couple different areas of standing beans, and because you really couldn't be in a tree stand or anything. I mean, the cold was so brutal. So if you have like a enclosed blinds or whatever, you might have a little corn flung there to get the deer off the standing beans, and they wouldn't even pretty much leave the standing beans.
Right.
They could give a crap less about about corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody thinks it's, because we can bait that but it's not how it goes.
I mean,
you're not killing big mature bucks.
I think they kind of, it kind of probably messes with their digestive system at that time of the year a little bit. So, yeah.
I'd say I don't know. This is a guess. I think once a deer becomes like 4.5, 5.5, I think probably 1 in 10, 1 in 15 can be killed off a corn pile. Do you feel like that? I don't feel like.
There's no doubt if you're running cameras. I mean, there's no doubt there might be a night out of a week that they'll come pound on it and be on there for 30 minutes or whatever, filling their belly or whatever, and then done for another 4 or 5 days. But
man, I think it's you know better than I do.
Sporadic.
I think it's more sporadic.
Very sporadic.
I think you get 1 day out of 14 days that
very sporadic.
He's going to come in. Like you've talked about in the past, they don't like all the deer. I don't think they like all the, because you'll have a whole community of 1.5-year-old bucks down to 30-pound,
Honestly,
does.
it's like you you fling a little, and that first day it's newness. They find it, and then
That's the day.
That's the day.
Yeah, within the first 2 days.
Yes.
And then you try to move the pile, and then the herd moves with it. No, it doesn't work. So overall, Joel, this is why we haven't had I think we explained this in another podcast that I didn't post the podcast for a while because if we were going to go a while, I just wanted to go a while. So I have 2 in the bank that we're going to be posting this week, next week, and then we'll just continue on. We'll get back on our weekly schedule.
We will be better prepared as it.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is I don't have people that work for me and everything that I rely on. I mean, it's kind of like once the season hits, I mean, I'm full blown trying to get every person a deer for the entire season.
And
I'm not relying on other people to do stuff. So,
and what is it?
Between me and Tim, it's just us.
November the 7th or 10th is when the time changes.
Yes.
I mean, we legitimately couldn't even done anything until, even if we wanted to, and it still wouldn't have worked out. I mean, you guys aren't even getting back into camp after time change till 6, then dinner, then it just, so we thought we could do it, and maybe there'll be a different plan next year, but this year it was a learning curve, and we don't, we did a couple.
And my garage band set, that's all fine and dandy until it's like 0. I mean, we talked about doing one here and there in January, and I don't know if I could have even got it tolerable in the garage because
we'd have been wearing the hunting gear.
Huh? Yeah.
We'd have come camoed up.
Remember the ones we did, I had my meat thermometers hanging in there trying to see what temperature I could get it up to
We're
in the garage.
At 52.
Yeah. But I mean, it served its purpose.
Yeah.
It served its
Yeah,
purpose.
it did good.
It did.
I think next year I think this coming year we have a plan. We have things that we want to do a little differently this year. So I feel like we did, for I think what we did, which was 21 episodes, I think is pretty amazing what we accomplished in 21 episodes. I think I said we probably put in a total of 60 to 80 hours in that 21 episodes, and I'm being probably a little generous on that, because it wasn't, I'm including the podcast time plus like editing and posting and stuff. And I thought, we did pretty good. So I'm excited about what this year looks like now that we have a plan and we're going to be more consistent. We know what the hell we're doing.
We sit and brainstormed a lot, and
yeah.
So, but it's a long, it's a long haul. The season it's a long haul.
So now that the season's truly ended, and I mean, I'm not talking about like specific, numbers, or I just want to know this year versus the years past. How do you think the season went? I mean, it's always fun.
I think we talked where, people say that the average buck killed is 3. I mean, did we not hear that from? We're not going to say, but is that what
Yes.
The average buck killed is
3.5.
So how do they get that statistic?
I don't know.
Average buck killed.
Yeah, we talked about, I don't think there's any way to, and I don't know if that was Ohio specific, because I don't see that as a real number. I mean, how do you even come up with a number like we said?
And I mean, whenever I say something, I'm not hating on anything. I'm just saying it the way that I see it through my eyes over 26 years of doing this. And, it's just, I mean, the large mature deer are more needles in a haystack than they ever were. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, yes, we've been a crossbow legal state for a long time, but they were kind of prehistoric crossbows in the 70s and the 80s.
Yep.
And then started becoming the reverse limb technology, and the speed started coming 300 and 400. And then it started that, I would have targets here when people would arrive, and, everybody's arrows would blow through the targets, the stuff. And so you started having to get 500 feet per second targets. And
yep.
And
that probably started 5-6 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between between crossbows that now shoot 60 and 70, 60 and 70 yards, corn, and everybody now has cell cams. So, I mean, no deer is ever at ease or whatever. I mean, somebody's always got an eye on him.
Yeah. Drones.
And we'll get to that next. But I mean,
cell cams, drones, crossbows.
Between the cell cameras and the crossbows and I mean, they can tout that the average age killed is 3.5. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the number of from my business standpoint, which is not what everybody's. I mean, there aren't as many 5.5s rolling around anymore.
Right.
There isn't as many 5.5s rolling around. I mean, deer get killed by customers with crossbows that would not have gotten shot at with a compound.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't have gotten shot at. I'm not hating on them or nothing. I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, I was kind of we were just talking to Travis, Harshbarger's butcher. We had Travis on here and we were just talking about this. And, I said, because everybody wants to argue the crossbow thing. And I said, well, traditionalists probably want to argue compound bows, and compound bows want to argue crossbows, and crossbows want to argue now high-powered rifles or even shotguns that are using if it's legal, use it.
The shotgun, the inlines.
So we can stagger that, but if it's legal, use it. But I think to your point, it makes it, when it used to be. When I remember I'm trying to think of what my dad had, Horton.
That was basically all there was in the beginning, was a Horton crossbow.
And they were reliable to about 20 to 30.
Or
Barnetts.
Yep. And Hortons.
I feel like no matter what arrows or heads, it was like 20 to 30 in 2008, 9. And then, honestly, that video I posted, that was one of the first reverse limb. I think that was a Horton Havoc.
That was a Horton Havoc.
And that was
that was pretty much one of the first reverse limb bows out there.
And I think you shot that deer at like 37 or 42 or something.
It was 40 or under.
Yeah, it was, but it was, I mean, that was like, I thought and the bow was this big, and but
the arrow was just so little. And so not very, not real heavy, not a lot of grains. Yeah. So.
I mean, and like that was in 2013. That was step one. And then I think about 5 years later is when the Ravens started coming around, and now everybody 10-point, all of them are kind of like Raven. They're all shooting 400, 500. Yeah. I think I saw a company advertising 600 feet per second this year, like a company I've never really heard of. They're like a new.
I mean, somebody gets out of a stand or a blind and hands it to me, and it's still loaded. You're almost you're kind of nervous holding that little thing. It's like,
it's going through you just like it's going through a deer, right? Yeah, I think about the same thing. It's like a loaded shotgun. Yeah. What got us on that topic? I mean, no, we weren't. I'm trying to reverse back because I feel like we were talking. I asked you.
Just talking about
how the season.
I mean, just the amount of 5.5, just, Now, with that said, I mean, there's good deer numbers. There's no doubt good deer numbers. But I'm just saying, whether it be the amount of hunters in our 3-4 county area or what, which may be because of me but I definitely the number of mature deer are.
I look at properties on Zillow all the time, once every three days, just to screw around. And it's funny to me that in the last like 2 or 3 years, every property that's listed over 5 acres, it's like awesome for building a house, awesome for land development, big bucks, in Ohio, and they have pictures of deer. And it's like 5 acres or more. And like That was never a thing.
That's now part of
Yeah,
selling
it's like the selling point is like
property.
you can build a house, you can develop it, or you can hunt it. And like I don't remember that 3 years ago being, I think Ohio puts out a ton of, Ohio trophy or
Ohio trophy box.
Ohio trophy bucks.
Yes.
I follow that page. I love that page. He does a great job, and it's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
You were saying before we started, people were showing
The bucks that they were hunting,
the survivors, the Survivor series,
the ones that it was the ones that you were hunting that you didn't get, and it was like unbelievable. I'm like, we just have amazing bucks in Ohio. I did see. I don't know if this is real or not, but like I know we used to be like 200, and you can answer this. Out of state tag and license is.
Yeah, we about doubled.
We doubled. Is it this year we doubled or for next year?
It was this year.
About 400 now, 450.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, which is now in line with probably like Illinois and some Kansas.
I mean, I'm hearing that non-resident tags went down some because of. Whether it was because of that, it probably was because of that. I mean, if you were people, West Virginia, Pennsylvania people, and you're on the line and you typically kind of live paycheck to paycheck, but cross the line to hunt Ohio, and it's now double the cost, you might not be coming to Ohio now.
Yeah, if it goes from 225 to 450 bucks, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
225 is an easy decision for a giant buck that you can go and stay in your truck and hunt public.
Most people that hunt with me, that's not a
no.
Probably don't even care about the price of their tag.
They're not worried about that. But like you said, the guys that are just coming in and they're going into public and they might get a shot at something that's not where they're from. That's a big deal.
Now you might not be coming. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Just out of curiosity, the states that border us, like I know Kentucky's like this.
We try to stay reciprocating with the states around us.
Okay.
I mean, that's what Gary always told me and everything, like as far as Indiana, Kentucky, and we try to stay somewhat with in line with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, other states, I mean, I know Iowa and Kansas is probably 5 to 6, knocking on. Plus you've also got 5 years worth of point. You could have Iowa. You could have 5 years worth of $50 points or whatever before you draw that tag. So
right.
Add that to your cost.
Yeah, I'm doing that this year. I'm going to start doing something for something. And when's usually the cutoff? I think it usually starts. And
they're all different.
They're mostly like in March.
Yes, I need to get you on the out west point system for all those states, the mule deer and the elk. You just need to get with like a tags or a company that takes care of it for you.
I just want to give money and hopefully one day get something. I don't really.
Yeah, you need to just use a service that takes care of it for you.
Yes I didn't know there was a service.
There are services that do that. You just say, like, you'll go on and fill out what your plans are, what you want to register for, and they'll take care of all. For a fee, I'm sure, but they'll take care of all the applications.
Yeah. I'm assuming you can click what you actually want and then pay towards what you're actually wanting to do. Like I pick if I wanted to go to this or that.
Whether elk here, mule deer here.
Perfect.
Some tags like New Mexico Desert Bighorn, you have to pay for the full, like a $3,500 tag, and you have to pay for it for the drawing.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people will have a tags credit card or whatever, just put all their tags on it, and then and after a few months, they basically use your money for 3 months and then tell you no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the question again.
Okay.
How did this year go versus the last 5 years?
I would say it was a different rut. It was a different rut. I don't know if we've talked about that since or whatever. Yeah, I feel it didn't get rolling until about that snow, November 10th, kind of kicked it off or whatever. So then it was good through there. Had a really good shotgun season. Yep,
snow on the ground.
Yeah, there was some snow on the ground. Had a really good shotgun season. Had the little 2-day 2-day combo thing I do, which is December 16, 17, right through there. That was a good hunt, and muzzleloader was a good hunt. So, yeah, So I'm going to say it seems like it always averages out.
Yep.
You know, with me, it's sometimes the archery hunters will kill it and have a real good time, and then the rest of the people might struggle. So it seems like maybe the archery hunters kind of struggled a little bit this year, and then the later then ended up catching up with them.
Yep.
So
we talked about this off camera during our little strategize meeting a couple weeks ago. But you've been doing this. Is this 27?
26 years.
26 years.
26 years in the book. Well,
20. I think this is 27 in the books.
This will be 27. Oh, it could be 27 in the books now. Yeah.
So on average, your camp takes roughly 2,500 to 3,000 inches worth of antler in Ohio every year, and you're
something
roughly
like that.
75,000 inches of antler.
Yeah, we said we're probably knocking on 100,000 inches or whatever.
You're like,
yeah.
and we put a kind of an average to everything, the amount of deer, the average size, and we ran some rough numbers. But
That's pretty
those
cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
75,000 inches worth of antler has been taken by 5-star outfitters.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah,
I think that's pretty
cool.
awesome. You know, and you're averaging 25 to 3,000 inches every year taken out of here. So I think it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's the 25, in my opinion, you know, that was based off of a 19 to 20 number. And I think that may be a little bit low. I mean, that's probably a little bit low, but
Yeah.
you know, that's 20, you know, that comes out 2,700 or so. So I think it's pretty cool.
Man, that's pretty cool.
When you think about it that
you
way.
asked me that, and I
Yeah.
didn't know where your mathematics were going. Now I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. When we talked about it and kind of understood it, I'm like, wow. You know, because the average person won't even come close to 2,000 inches if they're a serious hunter throughout their entire life.
their entire
yeah,
life,
throughout their
yeah.
entire life. So,
Chris, how you doing over there?
Good. Hanging out.
Just checking in on you.
so I mean, we didn't get a chance to ever talk about it, but I took a nice buck this year.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
We never even talked about it.
No, you know, no one's ever said anything or no
It
one's
was
ever.
like kind of a giant journey too, was
yeah,
it not?
it was awesome. Yeah, it was fantastic. You know, it was.
He was really pissing you off.
Yeah, I mean, nervous more than anything.
So Cory is kind of, you know, he's kind of on the boat of picking the right days to hunt.
Yep.
Picking the right days to hunt and using the cameras, which we can use, and picking the right days. And it was like 3/4 of the way through the rut, and he had hunted like what, 5 times,
3 or 4. It wasn't many.
And I mean, it was kind of, sometimes it would be therapy sessions talking, man, I feel like I haven't. And and I was like, man, be patient. It's just a weird rut. And
Because I went to Illinois.
yeah, he just kind of gave up and went
For
to
that
Illinois.
time, that time period,
yes.
I just was like, we looked at the schedule. You know, I had 4 or 5 days. I'm like, I'm not going to hunt here. I'm going to Illinois. You
And
know,
the winds and the just
Yes.
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
you needed particular winds. You needed
Yes.
this. You needed that.
yeah, and it was.
Wow.
It was, I think Justine, my wife, I think I was stressing her out about, because like it was an obsession. You know, everybody gets obsessed with their deer. And I was like every night checking the camera, you know.
And then it would be like a Friday or Saturday, and I would be like, "Ooh, looks good, right winds." Justine, we're going out for supper, and we're doing this or that.
There was only 1 or 2 times I couldn't absolutely go. I'd go when I could.
But it's kind of also hard because it was just far enough away that you know, your entrance and exit
Yes.
isn't the best in the world,
Right.
and
It's
kind
a
of
45-minute drive. I didn't have the luxury of somebody dumping me off, you know, so entrance and exit was very important. And then, you know, so we had a lot of information about this deer last year, and he didn't follow. You know, halfway through the season, I kind of learned that he wasn't following the same routine. He was kind of almost,
yeah. Basically, you would say every
North.
north wind, he's coming.
yes, every northwest.
Coming, he's coming this direction and
Yes.
feeding.
And then the camera data wasn't showing that. And then when he was showing up, when I wasn't hunting,
You were like
was-
every southwest wind, the son of a
it
bitch
was
is
like,
there.
it doesn't even make sense, you know? So that happened, I think I missed out on him, because for me in that spot, southwest wind was ideally okay to hunt.
Perfect for you.
But like I didn't hunt because I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to disturb.
So do you think that that bush hogged pasture had a little bit of play in that?
I
or
think
not
it
really?
had a huge amount of play. I think the other thing because
the first time I went and looked at it, you like dropped a pin. I went and looked at it, and I'm like, was that pasture totally bush hogged? And you said no, it was not.
Nope. So last year it wasn't bush hogged until the end of November. It wasn't, and this year they had bush hogged it before season.
Yeah, before season.
Before season was even, and then the other problem is there was the neighboring property we're talking about is 100 acres, and it was cow pasture, and it was all grown up for the entire 24-25 season until almost December.
But after recovering your deer, that's like the perfect entrance to there. I mean,
yes, he ran and died where he came from in the years past.
Yeah, that's like the perfect.
Yes. So that was his ideal. Come to the top, wind, look, smell. I mean, he could see everything. He always entered that direction in the 24-25 season. So, and then the other problem is that the farmer started
there in south.
Well,
Southwest made no sense at all.
Well, we'll get to the story on what happened. If you remember, he come from my right. He come with the southwest wind in his face.
That's right.
But like he just wasn't doing the whole, and I think it was the pasture thing, because it's a 300-400 yard walk across the pasture that's pretty much wide open on the other side of where he died. Yeah. It's wide open. I mean, he's got to make a long walk, and I just, we know they're edge animals, and I don't think he felt comfortable doing that. So, and then the other problem is they started farming. We did the food plot. We had a great setup, but they started farming. Almost a half a mile, quarter of a mile into the big woods where he was living. So, and that was all corn. So I think there was plenty of food. The creek runs through there. Where I used to have the advantage.
And that corn stood for a long time.
It stood all the way till almost the 1st of December. For second, I can actually look at 28th or 29th of November.
And why? I mean, it was basically.
Well, the neighbor passed away.
Oh, that's right.
The neighbor passed away, and they were, I think, had.
But
some
it was
family
also,
issues.
It got to be a storage issue. Like the places that bought corn were full, trying to get it dry and couldn't take it.
There was several things that compiled that pushed. So they were the only standing fields across the road and that road until almost December, maybe pushing into December. So all the variables were against me for him coming to me, which in the years past I had the advantage. Yeah. So all my advantages were gone that year.
But we'll post pictures of Chris's shot. I mean, if it's broadside, he's dead. I mean, it's so whenever I got that picture, I said he was slightly quartering to, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I mean, just God, even quartering to could have freaking nicked a lung or whatever. Yeah. But
he was. I think he was heavier
quartering to than you thought.
So the story is, just for everybody, in 2023, 24, started hunting the property hard. He was a 3.5-year-old great deer at that time. I didn't pay a ton of. I actually went back into my old Moldtree account to see if I could pull the pictures I can. I think he was probably
150.
140, 150, 10 with like one split G2 as a 3.5-year-old, and then he moves into the 24-25 season. I kill a nice deer on another property. I didn't really know this deer was even there because I had killed in early October, and then November he came back and he was beautiful. Probably in the 80s, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little higher. I don't know. And so I let Chris hunt it. Chris was hunting very hard. He didn't have a good spot to hunt. He's my cousin Chris. I love him. And, we went out and hunted him, I think only 3 or 4 days. Once again, he was very predictable as a 4.5-year-old. So we hunted, 3-4 days before we got the shot. And I think when he was turning, we stopped him and when he spun his head, he was kind of walking at an angle away. When he spun his head back at us, it looked like he was more broadside than what he was, where he was really more quartering away. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
You know, it hit him when you see the picture.
So in other words, when he turned his head, he also turned his body.
Yeah, and you're thinking you have more lung than what you did, but it was, you know, which we've talked about this. It's an optical illusion. You have to know deer. You have to understand. You have to know what's going on to make that. You know, 10 or 15% can make a huge difference. Where this deer was way more than that. So if you see the picture that we'll show with a bald spot, it looks like,
and you can legitimately see the broadhead, or you can see the broadhead scar.
I have a picture of the broadhead scar. So I mean, so Chris made this what we thought was a great shot in 24, 25. Never recovered. We hired a drone service to come out. We found him the next day, bedded where we think he lived, which made the most sense, where we always thought he lived. So we had great intel. We went and waited till the next morning, and we, you know, 14, 15 hours later, kicked him up from the exact bed he was there the night before. Like the exact pen, we were within 30, 40 yards, Chris, of that pen.
Yeah, every bit.
And we kicked him up. And then 2 weeks later, we had him on camera, living. In the meantime, Chris had killed a booner. I mean, he had, from the same spot, we had a stranger come in, and, you know, Chris killed a 173 or something. So that buck lives, and then he comes back the 20. So then I'm really prepared for him. And you had said, and, you know, I didn't really understand what this had meant because I never had this much history with a deer like this. But you had made the comment, you know, when they get hit, it can affect their antler growth. I think if they're
definitely going to,
you know, if they're going to be hit on the left side, it can affect the right side of their antler, you know, and it was exactly that. So 25, 26, I put more effort into the property. We food plot, you know, permanent blind.
Still no pictures of him, or no pictures of him.
No, and he didn't show up until late October, early November. And then when he did, he was, you know, and he was the final measurement on the width, and these guys kind of like looked at me like I was crazy. He's 8.5 inches wide. You know, his antlers are straight up and straight out. The mains were like 22 and 23 and 3/4, but it was like straight up and straight out. And like, you know, 8.5 inches wide sounds crazy, but if you look at his left antler, it's above his eye. You know, when we looked at that picture, it's above his eye. And so that's
the opposite side of the entrance. That's the opposite side.
Yeah. So that opposite side come out, and it just went straight. And then, I mean
what was he the previous year? Would you say he was 16 or 17 wide? I mean, was he 17 wide?
I think he was 18, maybe even 19 wide.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's a big change.
I mean, so he went from a 80s, low, maybe 90s, because he had split brows, split G2s, and, you know, 80s to, you know, I think he scored my score, guys. I always try to lower the numbers, 162 to 167, roughly. So he lost, I don't know, 15 inches, which, I mean, if he wouldn't have been shot, maybe he would have been pushing the 200 mark. But, you know, it didn't matter to me. I mean, so here I am, you know, once again, going back to bring this story full circle. I'm hunting him on what I think are the correct winds, and he's showing up where I think it's a northwest wind, and he's showing up on a southwest wind. And so I hunted a few times through the rut, and then Joel kept saying, be patient, because then I have this great 8-point on another property. And I know I had said I'm going to go hunt that 8-point, but I was never – it was going to be that buck or no buck, in my opinion. So we kept – Joel kept me calm, and we kept talking about it, and, you know, the right things happened. And then I think it was December –
My birthday. December 14th.
December 14th.
That's when you killed on your birthday?
Yep. So I think the 13th, 14th, we had a couple 0 degree days with snow. And there wasn't a lot of deer on the property, but he was still showing up. Yep. And he had disappeared, remember, before that for 3 or 4 days. And we think maybe a late doe come in because he kind of disappeared and come back.
Yep.
And I'm out there on December the 14th. No deer had showed up, and I told Joel it was, you know, getting towards the last hour of light, and to my left on the neighboring property, I saw this buck that I've never seen before. I think I actually did have a picture of him, and it was a great buck, and I'm like watching this buck randomly run across the property for no reason, and then all of a sudden, I happened to look to my right, and the buck that I was going after was probably within 9-10 yards of the ball. I mean, he is so far directly down, blowing steam. I mean, it was a surreal moment because I saw him twice. That's part of the story I left out in 24, 25. I saw this deer myself while doe hunting twice and filmed him at 15, 20 yards. I hadn't seen him that season. So this is the first time I'm laying my eyes on him, and I'm looking at him at 6 or 7 yards, just blowing steam. He's got a heavy limp. He's hurt.
He was limping?
Yeah, bad. He's limping horribly. And remember, he had that big mass. You might not remember me telling you. He had that big, when Travis skinned him, he had a big mass right here, like he had been punctured. So he just walks up, and it was an easy 22-yard shot. He probably went.
Yeah, did he have another broadhead in
He
him?
had a third shot in him. So he had the shot from Chris, the kill shot from me, and he had a shot going right underneath his spine, right through the top of that muscle.
And was that from, he could tell, was it grown over? Was it a previous year?
Yeah, it was a previous year shot. So this was his third shot. He had pus coming out the left eye. He had that big gouge on his right side, the heavy limp. I mean, he was a bruiser. And,
like the Wounded Warrior Club or whatever. Isn't
yeah.
it?
And I mean, it was such a relief to, I mean, I had never felt like a weight had lifted because you hunt a deer for 2.5 months.
No doubt, man.
I mean, you're hunting, but you're not hunting. You're at home, you're watching cameras. That's all you're thinking about. Total days hunted was probably 8 to 10 days, but it was the right days. You're trying not to make a mistake on a 5.5-year-old buck. So
you were hunting him the
vulnerable days. Yeah, we were trying to hunt him on the vulnerable days, the days that made sense.
Yeah, the days that made sense.
So
And there are a lot of people that hunt every day.
Yeah, and I mean
there's a lot of people that do that.
And it was such a struggle because I'm sitting there, and then on that same property, there's great bucks. On the other property, there's great bucks, and I'm just watching the days click away through the rut's gone, and
and now you're freaking out and trying to get permission closer to him.
I'm trying to do whatever I can do to get this done. Yeah. So, and then after the shot, I called Joel. I sent Joel a picture. Joel's like, dead deer, the blood was fantastic. And then he's like,
I said, go 7,500 yards.
Go 7,500 yards. And then I end up calling, I said, let's go a little farther. And we went a little farther, and he was probably another 50, 75 yards piled up. And, and it was, you came out and helped me. It was, once again, I think at that point,
it was 0 or below 0.
-2, -3. And I'm out of shape. I'm trying to pull the deer out. And I mean, I lose my breath. I can't catch my breath. Joel thinks he has to pull me out with the deer. It's embarrassing for me
because I was just going to put you on the sled with the deer.
I look up and Joel's just lugging this deer out as I'm about to fall over dead. I'm like, it was our first cold season. I'm out of shape. The
cold in the lungs, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it was, we took a couple does, Chris and I, this late season, and it was 0, and I'd tell him, I'm be like, listen, I'll pull the deer out, but I'm taking 20 yards and, catching my breath, 20 yards and catching my breath. Cause where we're at's real hilly and stuff. But yeah, it was, by far my most memorable, my favorite. And I got to tell this story. When I went,
your biggest deer doesn't need to be the most memorable.
No, not my biggest deer. Actually, I think, not my biggest deer. But it was the deer that means the most to me. And I'll never forget this. And I told you this story, but when I was leaving, so we went to that day, we had went to a birthday party for one of Justine's friends, their twin babies and close friends of Justine. And we went to Columbus that day, and we had some stuff. And I'm like I'm like, I got to be home at a certain point. So we left this party early. We apologized. And then we get to the house, and I'm like running in the house. I'm getting changed, and Justine comes out to the garage, and, at that time we had just found out that we were having a little baby girl, and Justine goes, squeeze my tit and rub my belly for good luck. She said, you're going to kill the deer tonight. So I'm like squeezing her tits in the garage, rubbing her belly, a little good luck. And it worked out.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know
it's like the joke between us now. And so if it was going to
start hunting again with my
you
wife,
go.
put her on that program.
So even more of the story was, if we had a boy, she wanted to name him Jefferson. And I didn't like that because I'm like, everybody's going to call him Jeff. Like, Jeff, like for short. So I didn't like that. So she named the deer Jeff. And so she's like, squeeze my tit and rub my belly and go kill Jeff, you know? And so that's what I did. Squeeze the tit, rub the belly, went and killed Jeff that night. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Went and killed Jefferson.
yeah, sometimes you just need a little good luck rub, I guess. So, yeah, we'll post pictures of that deer. It was a great deer, memorable hunt. It was unbelievable.
End of a saga.
Yeah, end of a saga.
No doubt. It was quite a journey with that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I was gonna come back to your season. Is there any deer hunt from one of your clients that sticks out this year?
Hunt that sticks out this year.
Anything specific? Anybody? You know, I have a story. I didn't know if you had anything that meant.
Yeah, we'll kind of tell a story about one of the most memorable ones probably was, same. I got cell cameras everywhere. Someone, and it's cold. It's November the teens.
And this is of this year.
This year,
Yep.
November the teens. And I won't even say David's last name. But he was in a shadow hunter blind, which is an elevated,
Yep.
box blind. And I see a picture of a deer that's mid-50s 8-pointer. I mean, it's a good 8.
Mid-50s 8-pointer.
Mid-50s 8-pointer. I get a picture of him, and he walks by the blind. I have a picture of him, then walk back by the camera by the blind. And then I think maybe even a third picture
While he's hunting.
while he's in the blind.
Okay.
And I'm just going, what in the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Is all I can think
Why
of.
isn't there an arrow in one of these
or a
pictures?
text from me or what?
Right.
And so then about 5 minutes goes by, and I get a text from Dave that he shot. So he, I wish I was a fly on the wall in this blind. He could not. He had so many clothes on. He could not draw his bow.
He had so many layers on he couldn't draw the bow.
He couldn't draw his bow.
Okay. He looked
tried.
like the Michelin Man.
He tried. So he's now in this blind with the deer out there, and he's taken off a coat. And then he took off another coat.
This is while you're seeing it walk back and
Yes.
forth. He's taking off layers.
That is correct. One time he tried to draw it back, and it let down, and he said the arrow went through the sight. I said, was this like a calming thing and you calmed down? He said, fuck no, I was
even more of a nervous wreck.
So
Did he end up getting a shot at the deer?
He did get a shot at the deer.
Didn't recover.
We did not recover the deer.
Didn't recover the deer.
Yes. But, so I guess where I'm going with this is with all this cold weather we have December and January.
Yeah.
I said, I draw my bow every hour. I draw my bow every hour. I do.
Practice
I
makes
said,
perfect.
when you're in there, did you draw and make sure that your money or whatever? And no, he never did. I said, you're sitting there in that blind, if you're sitting in a lock on, if you're sitting whatever, and it's freaking 20s out, or I really don't care if it's the rut and it's cold and you're shooting your compound. You should pull that sucker back every 40 minutes, every 50 minutes, every hour, or something like that.
Stay
just
warm,
to make sure
stay
you're
loose.
good to go.
Yep. And I mean, the other issue, you can say this about crossbows.
Because a lot of people pull more than you should be able to. You should be able to sit in a chair and comfortably pull it back.
Right.
You shouldn't have to go.
Yes.
I mean, I've been with people. I've sat with people filming people, and it's like, and it's like that. No. You should be able to sit in. You should be able to stay seated, and you should be able to go just like that.
Yep. I think that, I mean, that's cold, no cold. I mean, practice makes perfect. I mean, your bows in your
of course,
vehicle.
you got to make sure it's kind of dead around you at the time that you're doing it or whatever. But
Well, I was even going to go another step further. I mean, it's in your vehicle. I don't care if it's a crossbow with a scope or a compound, shoot it before hunts, practice in the stand, removing it from your stand, drawing it back. Like you've talked about visualizing the shot, making sure that nothing's in the way. There's a lot. You don't just grab it out of the truck that it's been in the truck for 30 hunts for 3 months, go in the woods and expect everything to be okay.
That's another pet peeve of mine. You've heard me say I shoot whatever because I might take a crossbow to go shoot a doe or whatever, but I take one shot before I go afield.
Make sure it's right.
Yes, I make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
And I will say I had Melissa Bachman here in late season January. Yep. She was at the archery trade show, and her and Teeter came over and they hunted, and she shot every day before she got in the truck with me.
And what % of your hunters that come here do that?
Very, very few.
Very, very few.
Very few. See, I mean, when it is when it's the early season hunts, if the opener in October and we're just hunting the evenings, yes, them guys are shooting their bows. But when it's the rut, people are there aren't arrows flung during the rut hunts.
Yeah, there's a big difference between being in summer, t-shirt, warm, loose, relaxed, practicing, going into October, November, layers, cold, sitting stiff in the tree stand in the moment. If you think you're reducing your chances significantly if you're not practicing.
We've talked about that. I mean, if I was hunting a big deer or whatever, and I'm shooting out a tree, like I would shoot out of tree stands.
Yes.
I would tree stand shoot, because tree stand shooting is a little bit different than sitting down.
Sure.
Shooting at a target. So,
yep. Practice makes perfect.
Yes, it does.
I mean, you got to put in the effort.
Yep.
Chris, how long we been running?
51 minutes.
I'm going to take a little break. You okay with a little break?
I'm good with a little break.
All right. We're back. I'll take a little break. So I was watching, and I think it was the same show that Melissa was at. What was that show? That was the SHOT Show?
The SHOT Show in Vegas.
So I wanted to get your opinion on this. I saw a little segment where somebody that went around and did interviews, and they kind of asked questions at the SHOT Show. They asked, I think, like 10 or 15 influencers what their opinion was on drones. But their question was more related to recovery. So they'd walk up and they'd say, do you think it's okay for people to use drones for recovery? And I think probably 9 out of 10 said yes, but everybody had a but in there. But you should not be able to do this, this, and this with a drone. And like we've discussed drones, and I think you guys use a drone for recovery, right?
We do.
Yep. But we off camera, we've talked about drones, and this year it seems like, I don't know what you saw, but this year I feel like I've heard about a lot of drone use that wasn't for recovery, and I personally did not like it at all. I mean, we can get into that, but when you're using a drone for hunting, I think it's absolutely the worst thing you can do. I don't think it's okay to put a drone in the air and monitor, or unless it's for research. Because I think from a research aspect, I think drones are fantastic. But I just wanted to get your opinion on drones, what you've heard, what people, because I feel like 3 years ago, 1 out of 10,000 hunters had a drone to recover. And now it's like everybody and their brother has a drone, and they're using them for everything. So I don't know what you've heard through this camp or what your opinion is. I have an opinion. I'll give it, but I just wanted to ask you. What?
Nothing. I mean, that's definitely a subject that needs addressed by the state of Ohio. There's no doubt. I mean, for recovery, it's kind of an invaluable tool for recovery.
Yes.
I mean, I think that there should be, for it to be regulated or something, there needs to be like licensed recovery people that you can call or whatever. I mean, there are deer that I feel we may not have found because of them.
Sure.
You know, we know they're not dead, and then we mark them, and you go back and find them the next day or whatever, or 2 days later or whatever. But as far as using them for the aid of hunting, I think it's. I think it's very. I mean,
it's not sportsmanlike.
Yeah, it's not sportsmanlike at all. I don't think it should be allowed. In Ohio right now, there is no. You could fly the drone, locate your deer where he is bedded, go put it away in your pack, and go get in the stand.
We were at a place, Chris and I was, and there was a there was a deer there, and it was a great deer. And somebody was there saying that day they had several hunters. They flew the drone, saw the deer, and then they went in and killed the deer.
Yeah,
landed the drone,
like bragging about
it, talking about it openly, and I'm like, this is maybe what people felt like when cell cams first come out, even though I'm not categorizing them as that. But like, I'm sure when people went to cell cams, they probably didn't talk about it the way that we do now, because now everybody has them. But cell cams is a big edge. But drones are, when you can locate a deer bedded or eating or in the field, and you have the wind direction, and you have watched him, his patterns, where he's going to go, where he's at right there.
And you can, even if you're not hunting, you can watch what he does. You can watch what he does. You can watch him get out of his bed. You can watch the direction he goes. You could,
it makes
you can pattern every move that he makes.
It makes and it's kind of, we're talking now. I'll talk for myself. I'm talking out both sides of my mouth right now, because I was just talking about how if a crossbow is legal, you should be able to use it, or a high-powered rifle is legal, you should be able to use it. And
very good point.
A drone is
currently legal.
A drone's currently legal, but man, it just doesn't feel right to me. I've never done it. We hired drone recovery one time just because you shoot a nice buck or you shoot any deer, you don't want the meat to go to waste. You don't want the deer to go to waste, and you want to recover, right? And that's more of a sense of just not being wasteful, rather than, I feel like I've always described deer hunting as, during the rut, you have a line of bars, and then you have a sidewalk, and women are in the bars, right? They're the bedding area. And you're walking down the sidewalk from bar to bar, and there's somebody shooting you on the sidewalk, right? Well, now you're walking from bar to bar, and there's something in the bar, cameras watching what you're doing in the bar. I mean, like, how are you ever supposed to win, right? I just don't feel like there's any sport or any game to. I don't, even people that probably don't even research, but like during gun season, how easy would it be, especially with the guns that we have in Ohio, land the way it is? You can make a 200-yard shot, go downwind. You don't even have to crawl. You could walk. You could pinpoint that deer, and you could walk into his bed, wait for him to stand up, and shoot him. That's not hunting.
Pretty much.
So,
yeah.
I think you're 100% spot on.
Yeah, something needs to be done.
I think that, God, I hate to say the government does it, because I don't like government, but
no, it'll be done hopefully by our state. I mean, I would think
anybody that has to do with any type of government, I don't like. But I do think there needs to be a list of licensed people that are allowed to use drones only for recovery or research. I like the aspect of the research. And I'm not saying like to pattern or to hunt a specific deer. I'm saying using drones to research deer, their movement, just for us to learn more, right? I think that's awesome. I think there's a lot of good data on, we always guess what a deer does. We always guess where he beds, but like early season type of stuff, I think it's awesome for research to come in and something like a scholar to publish something that you get to read.
So we flew a drone looking for a deer in November.
Yep.
And marked And so whenever you're flying, you zoom in and you mark this deer, mark that deer, check them all off so that way you don't look at them again. And then in January, flew the same place looking for a deer that got shot. Deer bedded in the same beds. Like there are deer in every X. The same beds that were marked in November is where deer were bedded in January. Same place.
Was it does, bucks? Did it matter?
Some of both.
Some of both.
Some of both. Yeah. Probably the same
I
deer.
mean, it's essentially their home.
Yeah, probably the same deer.
We're discovering their home, and then
Yes, I mean it may have changed a little bit with the thermals and the cold or whatever, but for the most part, they were in the same places.
I mean, when you talk about when you used to hunt, you talk about their home base, and then you talk about their hunting area for does during the rut. And you figured out on your own through scouting, glassing, watching their home base, and then you had an idea, and then you get close and you make the kill.
Yeah.
Right? Now you fly a drone and you make sure they're there 3 days in a row and home base,
Yeah.
And it kind of takes out
It does.
It kind of takes the hunting aspect out of it.
Yeah. Kind of the chess match is now a little bit in the person's favor versus the animal.
If there's guys out there bragging about it or talking about it, I don't know if they're bragging, but they're just talking about what they did. And once again, it's legal. So until we make a law change, they can do that. But they're out there. If there's one guy out there talking about, that means to me there's 5 to 10 doing it, and they're not talking about it.
I mean, we will have we have people in stands, and drones will be flying over my hunters at night.
You've had that?
Yeah, like multiple times this year.
Like when guys are they're waiting.
Guys are on stand, and there's drones overhead watching. Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legal.
I mean, whether it's done to spook the deer from my guys or what, but yeah, they're drones flying overhead.
Eventually, we're gonna have deer looking up, even though you don't have to. I know.
I mean, at a certain distance, they're looking up. I mean, because they're loud.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do something because it's, I
mean, Michigan and Pennsylvania, I don't think they ever
I'll look it up.
even started that they were ever allowed to use them, period.
I don't think
Michigan or PA.
Illinois, I don't think you're allowed to use them either. Because when I shot the buck last year in Illinois, we were going to hire a drone, and I Googled it, and it wasn't allowed. And it was only dogs still at that time. So that was in 24, 25. So I'm curious if even Illinois is allowed to do it.
So
now,
basically, them states never even approached opening that can of worms.
They never even let the can of worms come in. Yeah, they never even cracked it open.
I mean, they're useful. I mean, they're useful for animal recovery. I mean, and it gives the hunter, as far as from my business standpoint, it gives them a peace of mind. They know exactly, see, there's your deer, nothing wrong. He's fine. Or kind of.
Yeah, it's closure.
Gives closure.
Yeah.
Gives closure. Yes, it does.
Yeah. And I mean, once again, I'm fully in support of the closure because nobody wants a deer that just lays out there and we don't find and it rots or whatever. Dogs are great, but they're not perfect. And I think drones are fantastic for that aspect.
And the nice thing about the drone is you're basically zero disturbance to the area. Sometimes a guy shoots one and it goes into some 80-acre thicket that we don't step foot in, and you're November the 10th or 12th, and you're about to go trounce this whole thicket over looking for a deer.
Yeah,
and now right there he is, and you can almost kind of fly the drone. The deer kind of get up and leave. You roll in, get the deer, and come out. I mean, it's pretty slick.
I respect that you, as an outfitter, I mean, could you imagine what your success would be if you used drone?
We've never even inventoried, looked for a deer that's lost, or looked for a big giant
yeah.
that we can't find him. We've never used it one time
It purely goes in the air for recovery.
for recovery. That's
Yep.
it. Yep.
And I mean, so categorizing here, but some of your big name professional hunters, in the back of my mind, you know, I'm always wondering, are they
I mean, trust me, if you're under the pressure of trying to shoot big deer for TV or for your livelihood, you're using a drone.
You're using the
if
drone.
it's legal.
Right. And
Well,
maybe
if it's legal,
maybe if it's illegal.
But I mean, even if it's, I mean, because who's saying you're just not taking pictures of the scenery, or I mean,
sure,
you know,
they're flying the
they're
drones.
flying the drone.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, these guys that have money, like you said, they have pressure. The drones are going in the air. They're getting it done. It seems like their biggest deer on the farm are falling every year. And it, you know, maybe it is, but like multiple, I'm seeing some guys that are going multiple states and killing 3 to 5 deer that are great deer. And it's like that, I know you can do it. I know there's people out there, but like in the last 2 to 3 years, you're doing it every year for the last 2 or 3 years. It seems pretty unbelievable to me.
I got some stats.
Yep.
I'm saying there are people that can do it without drones. I'm just saying, seems like the numbers are going up. Mm-hmm. It seems like the numbers in general of big mature deer are going up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a drone now is why Chris is continuing to read. A drone now, I think you can get it done for $5,000. You know, that's not a ton of money. You know, if you're somebody that's addicted and you want it for that purpose, $5,000 is not a lot.
No. Go ahead, Chris.
Illinois completely banned. Pennsylvania is penalties have been applied for drone recovery. State treats it as part of hunting process and currently prohibits it under game law. What was the third state?
Michigan.
Michigan.
I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact you can't use it in Michigan either.
Regulations ban drones in hunting. Deer recovery use has been interpreted as a part of that prohibition now.
Yeah.
So, no.
I mean, sometimes I wonder if we should revert back to like.
And so I had a friend who drew a Arizona elk tag, and he was going out in July or August, flew out there for a scout trip. And I was like, I said, look it up and see if it's allowed or whatever. I mean,
you can inventory.
Do you know how beneficial it would be on time saving? How much hours you have and walking if you just flew and located a couple bulls?
Yeah, what direction you're going, what bull you're going after. I mean, how wide open that is.
Yeah, it could have been pretty valuable on his scout trip out there.
Within a 10-mile radius, you could pinpoint every bull and which one was the biggest. And yeah, it
wasn't not allowed in Arizona.
I was going to make the statement that, do you ever wonder if we should just revert back to no drones, no corn piles, no cell cams?
So when you had to go around and pull your cards and everything, you just, that camera may have sat there for a week, and I'd pull the card and it'd be like, shit, we should have been there 2 days ago, or you should have been there 2 days ago,
Yep.
It's still, they were beneficial and helped you, but
not near
but it wasn't like a game changer, like the instantaneous that you receive from the cell cam.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. They're good for my business, but a whole lot of deer wouldn't live without cell cameras.
And you've talked about, and I agree with you. I think people I know I said earlier that, there's only so many mature deer, but I think a lot of 3.5-year-old deer would survive without corn piles. I'm okay personally with feeding going away.
If the 2.5s and the 3.5s, that's who die on the corn piles. I mean,
yeah.
I
mean, my lease, we had probably 4 or 5, 1.5, 2.5 3.5-year-olds that just were easy pickings. I mean, we weren't going to take them or anything, but like it's every night. And we were doe hunting.
You can, yes, you can have a 600 pound feeder or whatever, and just to keep all the deer in that area, and we're not hunting over it. We're hunting, 200 yards downwind of the feet, or whatever.
Right.
So it's beneficial for that, but yeah, you don't need to be hunting over it.
Well, I mean, it's like
I think here's another one to look up. I'm pretty sure in Indiana is allowed to bait, but you can't be hunting within 200 yards. Or,
you might be right.
Yeah, Indiana, you can bait, but you can't
hunt over it.
That's a very gray area. I mean, yeah, but you can hunt coming and going 200 yards away from it, but you can't hunt over it. And I think Iowa, you're allowed to feed.
But you're not allowed to hunt over it?
You're allowed to feed throughout the season, and then you have to be done.
Maybe like a week or two before.
Yeah, a week or two before the season or something like that.
I don't know
in
what
Iowa.
states, but I've heard that too in some states. Yeah. I mean, supplemental, mineral feed, anything to make an animal or help an animal is great.
Yeah.
But like, once again, I say that, but we're guilty of, I took 4 does this year, 3 of which were over a corn pile, just because I'm trying to help what's happening
for management wise. It's pretty handy as far as that goes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do my part and take my does, and I don't want to go out.
But I will say, even a big mature deer are freaking sly on.
Yeah.
Are they not?
Big mature doe?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They don't mess around.
They either don't come into it, or they just
send the scout.
Yeah, they send scouts.
It's
and
always my favorite to watch among the ridge, the half-year-olds, year and a halves.
Oh, it's a button buck's first one coming in.
They run down, they're eating, and then you have the big mature does up there standing just watching.
Yeah, almost like a sentry goose.
And they're just kind of, they're slinging in, they're going, they're just as hard to kill as you can kill eight or 10, young deer, and then the one mature doe that you want to kill is probably a one every fortnight if you continue to hunt.
Yeah, she's tough.
Yeah.
She's tough.
Yep. So, I mean, has its pros and cons. I mean, I wish you could say that you could only kill does on corn piles, but because in Ohio I know.
Like my mother-in-law, she got me that sign for Christmas or whatever, that this corn pile is for squirrels and for
Yeah,
or
there you
anything
go.
else will get shot or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you have some properties that you're doing what you're doing, and then you have guys that load up a property next to you with anything and everything they want to eat on the, and they might be feeding at night, but it's affecting your hunting style. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's affecting, so it's a benefit to you if it goes away. It's a benefit to good hunters if it goes away. You have more deer. I
don't foresee it going away. Yep, I don't foresee it going away.
It's weird though that Ohio has this many mature deer taken, this caliber of deer, and we're one of the only states that allows you to hunt over bait. Why is it? Because of is it purely numbers?
The structure of our season really helps, I mean, our gun doesn't come in till pretty much post rut.
Gotcha.
Which really helps.
Yeah.
Because a lot of states you can, there's a gun is used during the rut and stuff. So
makes sense. I never thought about it like that. So you were, unless you had something else to say about drones, because we kind of got off the subject of drones. I mean, once again, my vote is no drone.
I think it just needs to be licensed drone recovery
and
people.
Regulated.
Yes. Yeah, and that's it. Like, you got to be licensed with the state. Yes.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just jumping back to that Indiana thing because this was actually tougher than I thought just to look that up. You can put corn out, like you can put it on cameras, blah, 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 do the whole 9 yards. You just cannot hunt over it, is what it says.
Yes.
It doesn't give a stipulation
It doesn't
on
say
distance or nothing.
I mean, no. It says you may place corn or other feed in private land. You may observe trail camera or feed deer recreationally. You may hunt in other areas that are not baited.
I'm sure if we had like an Indiana
Yeah, it probably gives-
ODNR book, it
right.
would probably say something, but I thought the number was 100, 200 yards or something. But, also that's, like you said, that's a little bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
And it's
It
counted
is.
as a 10-day. As soon as you put corn down, it's at least 10 days before you can technically hunt over it.
Hunt that
before it's-
area.
Yeah, they say it's 10 days. The soil is still.
I mean, lots of
corrupted.
states, I know, Iowa pretty much comes down to the individual discretion of your game warden, as far as
Oh,
like you can bush hog your corn, and whereas your game warden might not be okay with you bush hogging corn. I've heard it's kind of Iowa's kind of the discretion of your individual game warden.
See, I heard there was a podcast. I caught a podcast. It was like a clip on Instagram. They were talking to a game warden, and I don't know where it was. I forget. And they asked about, they couldn't bait, but they're like, well, if I grow corn, can I bush hog it and it's still natural?
It's considered a farming practice.
They said no.
And
He said no because it doesn't. So like your combines, you have header loss and everything else like that. That's the corn was intended to be
natural.
what the corn was
So
intended
basically,
to be.
you can run a combine. You can run a combine with no wagon running beside you.
Overfilled, a combine that's overfilled and it's just falling over the edges.
I said, open all the sieves and everything up and just let it dump out the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still being harvested, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the one thing I heard. He's like, you cannot bush hog it. It has to be taken with a
To your point, it's up to the discretion of the game warden.
Yes. So back to so have you seen all the footage of the drones doing the corning? How off the charts is that? Holy cows.
Do you know how this is where I'm caught in the in between. I think it's awesome. I told Chris sent the video and I was like, man, could you imagine if you could like load up 500 pounds of corn and like pinpoint 10 spots in a, whatever
You could
radius and just have it.
have Chris corning with the drone while you're in the stand. You know, it could be hitting you.
It could be raining corn on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could pinpoint a 200, 300 yard circle around you and just have it throw it. Now, do I think that's cool? Do I think it's innovative? Do I think it's, awesome? Yes. Do I think it should be allowed? No, I don't.
You could condition the deer that they would think that it was raining corn at 3
Yes.
o'clock every day.
Yeah. They could be like, guys, you hear that? It's raining. You hear it?
It's raining corn.
It's raining corn.
Yep.
No, that's
Yeah.
just
yeah.
dumping
It's just-
50 pounds of corn on a doe's head.
it's too much. It's no. I think it's very innovative. I think it's very cool, but no, I don't think it should be allowed.
I agree.
But, because once again, I corn for doe season and stuff, and want to take my does. Part of that process, I feel like it's me versus the deer, and part of that process is one of the spots I corn, I have to load it on the deer sled. I have to pull it. I have to go up and down ravines. So it's me versus the deer, right? And I'm putting in the effort to kill that doe.
There you go. You're
And
getting
so-
in shape while you're shooting.
Yeah, and I feel
For
like
the alumni basketball game.
not doing the alumni basketball game. So, I feel like if you're, if I can sit at the road in the driveway and, watch porn at the same time of driving my drone, I don't feel like that's very.
At what age do you feel like you can't do the alumni basketball game?
Thank you.
Here's the problem with the. Here's
got
the
everyone
problem.
on
Is it like mid 30s?
No, I think I can do the alumni basketball game now, but I'm to the point where I'm like, man, if I go out there and roll an ankle or blow a knee or, I don't want to risk.
It's treated as
what-
like the all-star basketball game.
So, okay, so then I embarrass myself and I walk up and down the court like a fat old fuck and I'm like, throw me the ball, and then I'm going to shoot it from the three and I'm going to airball it.
You can stand in the corner and just want a three all night and no one's going to care.
Same. I was 27, 28 and played in a Sunday alumni league, and I was self-employed, had my own company, and then it got to the point where 18-year-old that just graduated, you know, he had no problem with taking me out and stuff
Yeah.
or whatever. That's when it was time for me to wrap it up.
And you know you can do it. You can do it. You just don't have the you come in the paint, I'm gonna fuck you up
Yes,
mentality, right?
yes,
You're
yeah.
like, man, if you come in the paint, I'm gonna slide out of the way and you do your thing. But
Yes.
like, I don't want to go out there and have to have a bum knee or a bum ankle for a month after.
All right. That was just a quick sidebar.
Yeah. I mean, shit. This summer I tripped on my mother-in-law's deck and I was down for 2 months with a big swollen ankle. Fuck your alumni basketball.
Hey, I am going just to put this out there so we can't podcast the I'm in Cabo the week of the 17th. So February 17th.
The week of the 17th. I'm in Florida the
Cabo.
20th through the 24th.
I'm in Florida the 27th through the 4th.
Jesus, from the 17th through the 4th, it sounds like we're not going to run a podcast.
We better crank a couple out next
Yeah.
week then.
We're going to have to do something.
Yes.
So you said that you read, I didn't quite understand it. I just wanted to ask you, we're off camera. You said something about calling to deer.
Oh. Like CULLING.
Okay.
Calling.
I don't know what that is. Am I
That
stupid?
is, that's people that have the mentality that they shoot all the 8-pointers or shoot all the, that's calling. Killing deer, killing bucks that are non-meaningful, or so you think. That's calling.
Oh, that's calling? That's the definition? Like
That's
if
the definition
if
of calling.
if a buck is immature and you think it doesn't have good genetics?
So you're going to shoot all the 7-pointers or shoot all the, that's calling.
Because you don't think they're going to develop into
That
something.
is correct, because of genetics. So you're trying to make superior genetics. And so there was like a 10-year study that was released on.
Did they have a board with all the antlers?
I think so.
Like they had antlers laid out?
But a lot of it was on the King Ranch in Texas.
Yes.
And a couple 10,000 acre parcel or a 10,000 acre block, a 10,000 acre block. And the one area actually had like a 200 and some 170s like brought in for breeding of the does and everything to have superior genetics. And then the other one, I think that one called the inferior bucks and stuff, and then the other one did nothing. And I think after 10 years there was like 3 inches was the average difference in
Between
the bucks.
this and that.
Between all the bucks in this one and all the bucks in this one was like 3 inches difference or
I
something.
saw the exact same thing. Now I know what you're talking about.
So it basically, the sum of it was that the genetics, you can't do anything about the genetics. It's basically, it said work on the nutrition of
Yes.
your herd and your habitat and everything.
Yes.
To make your deer better versus trying to call out the 8-pointers and the 7-pointers
Yes.
and the 6-pointers and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think if I'm not mistaken, the title of the article or whatever was like once a spike, always a spike or something like that.
That was kind of it. Yes.
Yeah, because it was like
People are in Texas have the mentality to shoot all the spikes or whatever and stuff.
And it has nothing to do with
that
what
has
they're going to develop
nothing
into.
Nothing to do.
Yes.
A spike could turn into a 200-inch deer.
Yeah, or a scraggly buck at 2.5 years old could blow up into a 5.5-year-old great buck.
That is correct.
Yes. I
Yes.
did see that. I mean, there's so many variables that play into it. What nutrition, what water, what feed did they get that year? What was their sleep like, their stress level, what was the previous rut? What was, there's so many things that play
There is
into
a lot,
it.
yes. But
you
over
know.
10 years, it kind of gives
Oh,
you
yeah.
a good. Yeah.
The point is just because it's a ugly 2.5-year-old 8-point doesn't mean it's not going to be a beautiful 5.5-year-old.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think the gist of the story is to work on what you can work on, your feed and your habitat and
Right.
Yep. Versus trying to shoot the genetics out.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you hunt any this year? Did you have any need to hunt this year?
I hunted 2 times.
Two
Both.
times.
Yes, I hunted 2 times.
That's right.
And it was here in January, the end of the season, and it was just, and I took the compound bow, and I just thought I had the itch. I wanted to.
Did you enjoy it?
And I did.
Did you enjoy being in the stand?
I mean, I didn't see shit, but
and it was cold.
it was cold.
And you were in a stand. That's what got me. You're like,
No. I was in blind.
oh, I thought you were in the stand the
no, I
one
was in a
time.
blind.
You were never in a stand.
Nope.
Late season.
Nope. I was in a blind.
Okay.
Yep. I was in a blind.
I was, because you texted we were gonna do a
I was always in a blind.
podcast one night, and you were like, "I'm going out to hunt," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What are you hunting?" And you're like, "I'm literally just going out to hunt."
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like, and then we were here after the one to talk and strategize and stuff, and you're just like, "I went out to go out."
And then
Did you love it?
I did, yeah. And then there at the end, I have a spot that there was a buck that was, I think he got shot in the back leg like 5 years ago. So he is, I think he's 9.5. 9.5-year-old and shot in the back leg, and it like healed, and it's like you can tell he walks all screwed up or whatever.
Yep.
And he has one big good side and one jacked up side, but I just thought it was pretty cool to try and maybe kill a
9.5-year-old buck
deer. Yeah,
be awesome.
And and he didn't hardly very few daylight pictures. There was on some standing beans. There were some pictures that were like right at dark, right at the end, and but I never did see him.
Yeah.
Never did see him.
What I was going to ask you about the saddle hunting for the last couple of years has been this huge thing.
I know.
Does anybody in your camp?
I've never had nobody.
Nobody
saddle
has
hunt. No.
ever.
I've had people talk about it and that they do it at their spot at their home and everything.
Do they like it?
Some people love it. Yeah,
I mean,
some people love it.
The idea of dangling, you know me with my heights, the idea of dangling from a cantilever.
With your feet on a little platform.
Oh my God, it makes me sick to my stomach. I did see a video of a guy versus a guy. The one, he had sticks. The one guy had sticks, and the guy had sticks and a platform, and the other guy had the saddle hunting setup, which I'm not really sure what the difference is. There's still sticks involved, right? When you saddle hunt, is there sticks?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will have the sticks that are almost attached to each other. And
Okay.
like with the cables and the.
Okay, so like, and I've seen some.
Or somebody
rope.
could have the. Yes.
I've seen like rope, like stick, maybe, I don't know. But I saw a guy two guys, and one guy was an avid hang on with sticks, and then another guy was a avid saddle hunter, and they're like, I'm gonna be faster in my setup. It was just purely from a setup standpoint. They were almost the exact same. So the guy that had, I think it's more about like what you have to carry, right? Like
it's
a saddle.
all about being mobile or whatever.
Yeah, saddle can be much lighter, but the video, and you can look it up on YouTube. I don't know the name, but the guy that had the hang on with sticks and the guy that had the saddle almost were set up at the exact same time, going like 15 to 20 feet in the air. But I think it's more about the lightweight. Like if you're going into public land, right? I'm sure going into public land, you're getting in there 2 hours before sunrise.
I'm pretty fast with
I've seen you do it.
I've
seen you. Yeah. Also, risky is the word I would use, but
risky.
I just feel like there's a lot of leaning and dangling and just kind of one arm in it, and makes me nervous to watch it. I have no interest in it. I'm like,
and I've never been that. I mean, probably shouldn't say, but that lineman's thing, a wrap around the tree. I just feel like I'm gonna get hurt dealing with that thing.
You're talking about going up. You're going
just
up
while you're working. Being hands free with the.
Yeah. You're saying when you're hanging the stands, you don't.
I don't do anything. No, I just work. Yeah. But I probably.
I've seen you do stuff that just makes me.
If you take your
nervous.
time and you're always have 3 points of contact, and so
you can say that, but it takes one time.
I know it does. Yes.
So did anybody watch the video or the Netflix where the guy climbed the 1800?
I heard about it, but I
No.
didn't see it. And then I heard it got canceled because of winds a couple times.
Canceled a couple times. So he did it. Took him an hour and like 45 minutes to climb an 1,800-foot building in the Philippines.
How many stories was that?
Oh.
I heard like 100 and
Oh
something.
God, I don't even know what it was.
Huh?
It was an ungodly amount. It was an ungodly amount. I watched
I would be nervous watching it.
Oh yeah,
Were
I
you,
was
like, sick to your
to my
stomach watching
stomach,
it?
and I couldn't look away because he'd come to. So here's the worst part.
Did he rest ever, or he
no,
had no safety?
no, this guy. Oh no.
He just
was
hauled ass and
he had his. This was, you could tell it was like a promotional thing, because for him this was nothing. He was. I think he also holds the record for the highest solo climb on a rock, or like climbing a whatever you call it.
Free climb.
Free climb of a
up
rock.
face of a
Yeah. So this was nothing to him. I mean, he was literally up 10 stories in, I bet, 4 minutes. Like nothing. Like just. I mean, like.
Did he have suction cups or something?
No.
or-
Everybody asked me that. No. So I remember I told Justine at one time he was reaching out to grab something. All he had was his thumb, and his hands looked like monkey hands, like primates, like an ape. And he had his thumb and his finger pinched, and he was reaching out, and he was kind of barely dangling. He was just holding himself by reaching out, pinching between a piece of steel. And he's like, I don't know, 500, 600 feet up, and he's just holding on with a thumb and it was just, and then like so the building goes like this.
And is a camera's zooming in on
There is
him? Or
drones.
There's drones?
Drones flying. His buddies like in a crane hanging from him, filming him at every. So he's like talking to people. People are inside banging on the window and like filming him, and he's high-fiving them. And you watch it, it makes you sick to your stomach how easily he does it and how impressive. And it was so funny because he gets to like.
What was that? That was on Netflix. What was it? Netflix?
There's 10 of these like tall. They called them dragons, and I think it was the Philippines. Chris, can you correct me if I'm wrong? And they're like the protectors of the building, and it's like these 20-foot tall dragons. He had to climb 10 of them to get to the top. And so he like hops and jumps and like grabs them. And like the one, he like checks each side, and he's like, oh, there's less pigeon shit over here, more pigeon shit. I'm going to go up the left side because he's mic'd up. You can hear him the whole time. He's like, oh, there's less pigeon shit on the left side. I'm going to go up the left side because there's less pigeon shit. So he's like worried about slipping. It was wild. And I just, it just kind of makes you. Anyways, while I'm watching it, I swear I thought about you hanging tree stands. I'm like, this guy's doing this, and Joel just free hangs, what you do.
That's not a very good comparison.
I know it's not a comparison. I just think about like what you said, and I think about him because I was like telling my wife, I'm like,
and is he from America?
yeah, he's
Yep,
American.
American.
And I'm like, one slip up, one tiny little slip up. And what you just said with the whole 3 points of contact, I'm like, one slip up, and it
Don't sound like this guy has 3 points of contacts all the
he
time.
does not have 3 points of contact. He's like dangling there by one arm at sometimes, and he like pulls himself up, and he's doing like 5-foot pulls, hops, grabs, and it's sickening to watch. I couldn't finish it. I had to turn off. I was going to fast forward to the end of. He made it, by the way. I told Justine if he didn't make it, we know, because he like fell to his death on live television. But wow, it's unbelievable. So hey,
He did that in Taiwan, by the way.
Taiwan. Okay. Yep. What was you gonna say?
Just a big freaking tall building. How many stories? I think it was 100 stories.
He climbs Taipei 101, one of the world's tallest buildings, without ropes or safety gear.
Yeah, so I'd say that 101 is probably 101 stories.
He made it look so easy.
Hey, before we get off here, do we want to give the stats of what the season looked like that they gave out?
Who?
Ohio hunting, like deer
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have them?
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
What
here.
we did in the 25-26 season?
25-26 season?
They just released them.
Yes.
Yep, go ahead.
There were a total of 232,142 white-tailed deer checked, 104,731 in archery, 101, 283 in firearm, 13,055 in muzzleloader, 9,759 in youth, and there were 3,314 during a controlled firearmed hunt. 1,111 921 does, 95,998 bucks, 21,257 button bucks, shed bucks, bucks with less than 3-inch antlers, 2,966.
We killed 25,000 potential world records. 25,000 potential world records.
5,000 button bucks?
Between button bucks and shed antlers less than 3 inches, 25,000. It was like 21 and 3 or 4.
Wow, that's a bunch.
That's a bunch.
That's a bunch.
I think
Top 10, all east of where we're at. East,
yeah,
northeast-ish areas.
it's always that. Like I always see the
first 3 counties. I can't say them, so I'm not even going to try. But you got Knox, Muskingum, Carroll,
licking. Yeah,
Holmes,
yeah.
Trumbull.
You and I think where we went, that was that area where you and I went up to the.
Yes.
That was that area.
Yep, that was that area.
Yeah, and you can just tell when you're in there. It's just that.
Yes.
It's almost like Zanesfield.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that. They got their grain, they have their bedding, they have their
Yeah.
water, they have their green, they
Yeah.
have. It's a beautiful mixture.
And that was brought to you by Ohio Trophy Bucks Instagram.
Yeah.
He posted that.
Yeah.
And Ohio Hunt Club.
Good. Hey, it was great to be back.
Yes, it was.
It's getting. I think it's like almost.
I'm usually, in
8:16.
this 0 weather, I'm usually cuddled up and about asleep in my chair by now.
Old head.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I had to leave. So I have a diesel truck, and you got to plug them in. Even now, you still have to when it gets like 0.
Yep.
And so I have to plug my truck in, even though it's a 25. And about a week ago, I'm in my underwear. I have my wife's leopard blanket. Run outside, plug it in. I live in town. Plug it in, run back in my Russell slippers, black and green. If anybody can imagine that, very sexy.
Nice.
Very sexy.
Nice.
Probably in some like patterned Russell underwear.
Good thing you're not at Grandma and Grandpa's. You'd have been on the Blink camera.
Yeah. Jesus. Can you believe that? What we sent you, the video of
What's better is Chris's story.
Chris's story.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Told him about Friday.
Yeah, his Friday hunt.
We're gonna have to save that for another. My grandparents in their backyard have a. What do you think that 10
Probably a 150 or 40s to 40.
So we got more videos of it. I think it was 50, mid 50s.
Yeah, mid 50s.
Mid
I'd say.
50s. Yeah, it got bigger every video.
Yeah.
My grandparents, they
as
don't.
The season it got as the last days in the season, he got bigger too.
Yeah. My grandpa going out with his coffee can of corn every day and
Just a
feeding.
side-by-side tracks. Just all, it was like a racetrack over there. Just
Yep.
gone.
Drives by, dumps it, keeps driving 20 yards off the back of their house. And then
I'm surprised he didn't try to do like an ET M&M trail from the bedding area or something. Where
he could just like really hop right in the window of the cabin. I mean, the one video was not only him, another like 3.5-year-old 8-point, like another 3.5-year-old 10-point in the background, walking where like the barn is, the chickens are. I'm like,
Half
what?
rack.
I'm like, what is going on? Like at night,
That's
they're
hilarious.
just roaming my grandparents' house, like, wow. I think though, deer, I was talking to somebody about this. Like we've had snow on the ground for 2 weeks now and it's deep and it's cold. Assuming, you can correct me if I'm wrong, deer start to get a little desperate on their, like they'll eventually, there's probably a span in there where they bed heavy, they try to outlast it, and then there's this span where they start to get desperate and they take what's easy. Am I right or wrong on that?
I mean, they browse a lot. So I would drive by places and they're just up all day, just browsing in the woods. Just
Yep.
nibbling on the trees and nibbling on a lot of browse.
I drove to Delaware, Ohio today on 33, and I'd never seen so many deer just standing. How you can see the hillsides and the ridges.
Yeah, just
and
standing
they're
and
just
browsing.
standing, or they're
Felt good today for them.
yeah, they're
little
just all.
sunshine.
You could like look up and just see deer walking or moving. So
yeah.
yeah.
Little reprieve coming next, or it looks like a little warmer next week. So.
yeah,
Corey, did you see the new property I got this morning as we were both driving by it? There were like 6 deer out in that field.
yeah,
It's like cool.
yeah. On the property over.
On the property next.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, great episode.
Yep, no doubt.
It's
Good
great
to be back.
back.
Yes, it was.
We'll be back more often now. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.